Hi. So I thought today we'd get outside with a chair. Chair yoga is great because you can do it in any chair. I mean, a straight back chair is best. Sitting back into an easy chair, not the same, but it's got a firm seat and reasonable height, and straight back ideally. Then the chair works, and you don't really need any other equipment. And you can do quite a lot just from a chair. So I want to run through some of those things and give you some ideas, or you can follow along with this sequence. Anyway, hi to everybody out there in stay-at-home land, and miss you all. And hi to anyone who's new to me, who's watching. I'm Hazel, and here we go. Okay, so some chair yoga. Oh yeah, I'm sponsoring my local feed store here. All right. So you can sit in your chair, and the thing to do is to have your heels right below your knees. You don't want to be tucked under. You want feet flat and your heels right below your knees. Sitting on your sitting bones, and again, you're not sitting back into a chair like you might if you're watching television, just relaxing. You're sitting upright so that you want to create the posture in your torso that you would have if you were standing upright, standing to attention, standing in Tadasana. So in effect, your sitting bones are your feet in a way in this pose. They're part of your foundation. And your feet are your feet too, connecting to the ground. I'm still wearing my boots, and I might have to take them off in a minute, but I'm just going to keep them on because in practical terms, maybe you'll be keeping your shoes on too, especially if you're working outside or something like that. So a nice place to start is with the breath, and you could leave your hands on your legs to just ground you, or you could bring your hands to your ribs and let your eyes close and just feel what's happening with the breath. Feel the movement of the breath in the body. With your hands on ribs, you can feel a lot of that movement. You could bring your hands to different parts of your rib cage, like say the top ribs or even the collarbones. Feel how the movement is a bit different up there. You can bring your hands to your belly, because often, and it should be, belly moves when we breathe. You don't want a tense belly. Softness. And it's kind of good to try other places too, like you could try just putting your hands on your head. Just bringing attention to the placement of your head. You could cover your ears and listen to the internal sounds of your own breathing. Or you could cover your eyes. With your eyes covered, closed, or open on the side of your hands, notice any softness, any space. As you bring your hands down, you can just hold them in front of your sternum and let your upper arms rest on your ribs, and just allow the ribs to move your hands as you breathe. It's an honest reflection of the breath. I'm not trying to exaggerate it. Just a good way to tune into how you are feeling right now is to tune into the movement of the breath and any other sensations that are connected to the breath. Notice how your tongue is feeling your mouth and your jaw. You can bring your hands to surround the lower jaw and the throat. and just kind of reflect some warmth and softness into that area. I'm just bringing the palms together into a prayer mudra. You can really open the hands now and feel how opening the hands with elbows bent draws shoulder blades onto the back. Keep the shoulder blades on the back and stretch your arms up at a diagonal, and then bring them back, elbows bent. Keep the heart lifted, sternum up, bring the hands back to prayer mudra. We'll do that a couple of times. So opening, shoulder blades hug onto the back of the ribs. Extend the arms up at an angle, maybe even lift your sternum up into an upper back arch. Come back, bend the elbows, bring your hands back together. One more time, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, or however you want to breathe, and exhaling. Good. Let's bring the hands down onto the thighs, and I'm wearing boots. Maybe I should take them off, I don't know. Yeah, you'll see better. So I'm going to take off my boots and put my feet in the sand of the round pan here. This is where we are. I'm going to take off my socks too. Lovely white feet. Never hardly ever see the light of day these days. Living boots. All right, so I've got my feet on the ground, parallel feet, heels touching at first, hands pressing a little bit downwards, lifting chest up. And we're lifting the heels and down. Heels lift and down. So as I lift, I'm firming up the peroneal muscles and the outer ankles and calves. And as the heels go down, I'm really pressing them to the earth. Lifting, so it's firming up and strengthening the lower legs, and then grounding the heels. Really bringing awareness to the legs. A little bit of pressure, a little bit of resistance downward with the hands. Breathing. Never forget to breathe. Good. So I've got another foot exercise, and this is nice. Oh, it's so great if you can do this outside on dirt or sand or grass, or even concrete. There's a certain kind of connection you can get by having your feet on something other than a synthetic material. Concrete is just sand, you know. So anything that connects you to the ground, the earth, without impediment. But on carpet it kind of works well too, just in the sense of the texture of the carpet. So I'm putting my heels together, spreading out my toes, and I'm keeping the balls of my feet rooted down as I drag them back together. Then I'm opening with no resistance, and I'm dragging the balls of the feet back together, making a little pile of sand between my feet, and opening and dragging in. So if you don't have sand, you're just kind of dragging against the pile of the carpet or against the texture of your flooring, whatever you're on. And this is strengthening to the arches of the feet. And a lot of people, as I teach therapeutics out in the world, in my old out in the world life, have weak arches and very little awareness of the inner structure of the foot, or the structure of the foot in general. And it causes all kinds of issues in the knees and everything up from there, because everything below affects what's above in the body. It's like foundations or platforms that come up. Everything below affects what's above it, including your head and neck and shoulders, your heart, your inner organs, the way they are supported or prolapsing. So never underestimate the power of strong, intelligent feet. All right, so you do this however many times, ideally a little bit until you feel like a slight feeling of fatigue in the understructure of your feet. We'll move on. So taking the arms up and then pressing your left foot into the floor, bring your right knee up into your chest, into that side of your body, right side of your chest, and put that down, bring the arms up, and then bring the other one in. So it's actually a lunging action, using your hip flexors, your psoas, bring it up, grounding the other foot. Inhale, Try to keep your body as tall as possible as you do this. So you're not rounding your back. You're staying upright and lifted. It's a core exercise as well. Good. So let's bring the arms back up. Just take hold of the right wrist. And I want you to really press through your left sitting bone as you take a side bend. And come back up. And then switch, lift up first and then over. So you're opening up the side of the body. Back up and repeat. Lift up and over. Rooting down through the right sitting bone as you bend to the left. Back up. Switching hands, going up higher, getting taller. Rooting down through the left sitting bone as you bend to the right. Coming back up. Bring the arms down. And just take some shoulder rolls to release any tension from the shoulders that you might have gathered. Rolling action, just moving out some of that stiffness in the shoulders that we all tend to gather up. And then sitting tall, you might turn the palms up, which is a more receptive position, and let from the shoulder to the elbow to the wrist to the hand just fall down. If you're opening the chest enough, if you're opening the collarbones, and you're opening the ribs front and back evenly wide, then the shoulders are wide enough to just let your arms release down like sleeves on a jacket on a coat hanger. Keep the feet grounded, elongate through the core, through the central column, and turn your head very, very gently through its natural range. Don't push it. Take that moment to listen in, or listen out. Soften your thumbs. Back to center. So, a hip flexor stretch that you can do in a chair is very similar to what you might do on your back if you were lying down. Bring the right leg up, flex the foot, hook the outer ankle over the other leg, over the left leg. So you've got a deep turnout happening inside of the hip, and you can stabilize that leg with your hands. Try to be tall. Try not to get pulled into that rounded back position. Roll onto the very tallest point of your pelvic points, and let's circle the right foot. Circle it, move that foot, mobilize, and go the other way. Breathing. Appreciate the breath. Flex the right foot. Keep that deep turn out. This is where you're going to feel it most lightly. And elongate the spine again. Try to keep your spine, especially the front of your spine, long and your shoulders wide and open as you take any kind of hinge forwards you can. You're not rounding. The objective is not to get your head low. It's simply to take whatever little bit of forward rotation over the femur heads you can take. A little bit of forward bend. Good, and you're very lightly feeling that. I do. Any tightness you have stored in your hip joints, you're going to be aware of it. This is almost more effective than thread the needle that we do lying down, because you can't cheat as much. Inhale and lean just a few degrees forwards. It may not be very much. And come back up. Hug that leg back into a neutral position, and then place the foot carefully, and let's do the other one. So pick it up, flex the foot, turn it out, hook the outer ankle over the right thigh. Support that position. You're turning that leg from deep inside of the hip, and let's just mobilize the foot on the end of the leg, going a few times one way. Beautiful day now. And the other way. All the birds singing. It was foggy earlier. And flex. Spread out your toes. Work that turn out position. And then lengthen. Keep it. And lift over the top of the leg bones and take a forward bend. You don't have to go very far. You only have to go until you feel something. And that's exactly where you want to be. So we'll have to go a different amount of degrees to get to the edge of our stretch, or edge of our range of motion, or beginning of sensation. And that's exactly where the thing called yoga is. That's the place where the work is. Inhale, hinging forwards, shoulders are wide, shoulder blades on the back, like two very friendly hands lifting your heart. And come back up. Cool. So release that, bring it back to neutral, bring it back to the floor. I'd like to show you how to do that familiar downward facing dog done from a chair. So before I do that, I'm going to show you how to get up from a chair in a really ergonomically sound way. So you're at your feet grounded and just bring the arms up with an inhale. You might want to watch this the first time around. I'm going to drop my head down and swing my arms back on the exhale, and on the inhale I'm bringing my arms up, pressing into my feet, coming up. In reverse, that's inhale up, exhale, sitting, and then inhale arms up and exhale coming back. So I'll show that from the side. Sitting my chair, so I'm sitting side long, and it's an inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. So June Chadwick, an Alexandra technique teacher, very lovely, probably could find her, taught me that, and it makes so much sense because it's this is how we usually get up if we're not thinking about it. And we sit down that way and we crunch the back of the neck. So I'm not saying that every time you get up from a chair that you must do that, but it is worth bearing in mind that every time we stand up and sit down from a chair, we're doing something that's possibly not so good for our body alignment. So once in a while it's good to practice that. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. And we're up. So move your roots over. If you're not putting your hands on the floor sometimes, or if you want to do less weight bearing, if you've got wrist issues, a lot of us do, a chair can really take some of the pressure off. Not all of it, but it reduces it. So you got your chair, and you need it on a non-slip surface. If you were to put your pressure on that chair and that chair slid out from under you, you could, fall over on your face. So a deep surface like this, like I'm on sand, is good, but if you're in your house on, say, a slippery floor, put a yoga mat, something non-slip underneath all of the chair feet. So I'm holding the sides. I'm not putting my hands on the top, holding the sides of the chair. This is not a special chair, it's just a collapsible metal chair. Any straight back chair works for this. I have good grip, and I'm walking my feet back, and I'm just coming into, it might look familiar as downward facing dog, or in Sanskrit, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Trying to create a long line between my thumbs and my sit bones through my body. My feet are parallel, about hips width apart, and I'm trying not to dunk down if I'm flexible, and I'm also trying to avoid hunching or bringing too much weight forwards. Trying to elongate. Your knees can be bent, and that makes it easier if your hamstrings are tight, or they can start to straighten, driving the heels down, driving the femur bones back through the hamstrings. Keep a little bit of tone in your lower abdominals to contain any tendency to collapse in the lower back. I'm going to take this into a plank pose, another familiar pose. Straight line head to heels, and then back. I'm going to do that a couple more times. Plank, trying to find that balance between the front body and the back body. And then back to the down dog. Maybe knees are bent, maybe I'm starting to straighten them. Maybe I'm going to add a little strength challenge by lifting one foot and keeping my hips squared to the ground, and switching out the other one. And down. Taking it back to the down dog. And so maybe we'll take a little twist. I'm stepping my right foot underneath that chair seat. Sorting out my costume here. So I'll step the right foot right under the chair seat, and my right shin bone is pressing up against the chair seat. And I'm still up on my back toes. In fact, I'm going to move so you can see my foot. I think you couldn't see my foot. There. My back foot is pointing forwards. All 10 toes are pointing forwards. I take my left forearm and put it right across the chair seat, and I'm going to draw my right hip back and in towards my midline, turning my ribs, turning my shoulder girdle, and then finally extending my arm up towards the sky. I'm trying to draw this shoulder blade onto my back also. And circle that on back and down and onto the chair, and take a grip on the chair and step back into that downward facing dog again. I'm going to break it up by doing the plank once more, just a nice neutral position, and then back. And then stepping my left foot right underneath that chair seat. Yep, all 10 toes pointing straight ahead. I'm putting down my right forearm, drawing my left hip back and in, back and into the midline of my body, like my spine, and then turning open into a nice twist. I'm pretty supported by the chair. Again, it's not sliding away from me. I'm pressing my shin into the edge of the chair seat, and I'm turning along the entire length of my spine. Circling the arm back and down and stepping back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog. And plank. Back to the down dog. I'll step my right foot forwards again, and again I want my shin touching, and I'm on my back toes, and I'm going to engage my core muscles, or the muscles inside of my abdomen, and I'm going to pin in the sides of my thighs towards the middle of my body, so pinning in my femur heads, and I might bend my back knee, or I might keep it straight, but the reason for bending, it's easier to bring the pelvis into the upright position as we come into crescent. Reaching up if you have your balance, or you can keep your hands on your hips to sort of feel which way your pelvis is pointing, and you want it to point towards the back of the chair. So crescent pose. And then, yes, step back. All these poses kind of fit together, same base. Step the left foot under the chair, shin against the chair or knee against the chair. Get steady on your feet, bend your back knee, scoop in the lower belly and bring the pelvis upright. Get steady, keep pinning in to the midline, these outer thighs, and bring the arms up if you like. And elongate the entire torso. You don't want to hollow the lower back, you don't want to throw the chest, you just want to create elongation. And balance. Inhale. And then step it back. And a plank. And back to the down dog. I'm going to step my right foot under the chair again. It's the same position, and I'm going to turn my back foot down. I hope you can see it. So I'm pressing my shin into the chair, and I'm pressing my outer right hip into the midline still. And I'm reaching my back heel into the floor. And I'm going to put my right forearm down on that chair, and to stay with that for a moment as I stretch up. It's a pretty deep knee bend, and I'm pretty secure on my feet. So on an in-breath, coming up into a warrior pose. And having that knee touch the chair is very stabilizing. Back legs should be straight, torso should be very long, shoulders very relaxed. So there you go, warrior two, and you can keep that contact with the chair as you come into reverse, warrior, back to the warrior two, and then all the way back down, stepping back. And let's do the other side. Left foot, right foot steps down, outer heel pressing into the ground, big toe root of the back foot pressing into the ground. Find your perfect balanced foot position, front heel to back arch. You can set your elbow down and turn the rib cage with the outer left hip pinning into the midline. The midline is a line that runs between your left heel and your right arch here, leaning in, and right on that. And feeling it, come on up. You can also stay down just fine. I'm coming up, warrior two. Lots of lift, lots of relaxation, lots of strength in that back leg. I'm pressing my femur back. I'm also pressing my left knee towards you as I'm pressing my left buttock away from you. And reverse, lift the heart. And come back to down dog. Downward facing dog. And plank. to a down dog. I'm going to come into plank. I'm going to do a little mini push-up. Bend my arms a little and push back up. And just maybe 5 of those. So that was 1, 2. It can be the smallest amount. Form is more important than depth here. So just bend the elbow a little, but keep the elbows hugged in and keep the chest wide. Okay, that was 5, and then back to down dog, and then plank. And I'm going to just walk forwards and turn my chair for a moment back to that sitting position. Oh, look how I sat down. Okay, inhale, exhale, and inhale. So I'd like to take you from plank into up dog and back to down dog. Just a nice little flow, and it's an opening, it's a chest opener. Upward facing dog, it's the back extension. But to warm up for that, let's use the chair. So the chair, your chair, hopefully has a backrest, back rail, and you have to kind of slide down a little bit and find the place on your back where the chair back intersects about the lower half of your shoulder blades. And when it's there, it's a good place to get the support of the chair back. And you can ground your feet, your pelvis, bring your hands to the back of your skull, lift up your chest and open. So this is a really nice way to support a back bend in the chair, really lifting up your heart towards the sky. Breathing, it's very important here. I'm getting a nice wide elbow, but you could also work this with arms parallel and palms turned in, so parallel from shoulders to hands. Good. You can vary, and each little change makes a difference. Like you can go up or down your thoracic area by just half an inch and you'll feel it differently. So I've just moved the chair back down a little bit, and my feet my seat are still grounded, and yeah, I feel it pressing. It's almost like a little massage. I'm sitting a little bit closer back, and the chair rail goes further down, and again. And this nice opening to my upper spine. And you know, our upper spine is where we want to be bending. If you're doing any kind of back bend, any at all, cobra, upward facing dog, you know, any of the back bends, you want it to happen. You want to put your efforts into bending in the thoracic, not in the lumbar. Our lumbar is already super loose and unstable and will bend without you even trying. So don't exploit that. Try to cultivate some openness in the top, where a lot of us are a bit rounded and crunched down. That's where you want to. So it's about the shoulder girdle, and it's about the thoracic mobility as well. So these kinds of things, great way to warm up very safely for something that's a little bigger. You can also clasp your hands and extend your arms back and open the chest. So this is a position called extension at the shoulder. And always remember to reclasp thumbs and fingers, roll the shoulders open and get the second side. Really good feeling if you've been sitting hunched up watching the TV. And coming back up, maybe come back to neutral. While I'm here, another way to open up, because it's all shoulder and ribs and spine working together. The shoulder head in lots of us is really poking forwards. It's just a natural position, and the more we take our arms back, the more the shoulder pokes forwards. So we want to actually open up the pectoral muscles, this little hollow here and just on the inside of your shoulder head. And a really lovely pose that I've been using for years isn't really particularly a yoga pose, it's an element of a yoga pose, or a chiropractor in Germany called Brugger came up with it, and he called it Brugger's relief pose. So anytime you're sitting or standing, remember to do it. Drop your hands by your sides, take your thumbs and turn them as far back as you can. Rotate the palms out until you can't go any further, and notice how that draws the shoulder blades onto your back ribs where they belong. If they're not there and they're rising up, you can guarantee the shoulder head is up and forwards and the pectorals are incredibly tight and short. You want to strengthen the muscles that create an open position in the chest. So Brugger's really nice way to counter the tendency we have of having our hands So, yeah. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. And I'm gonna just show you the sequence from just down dog, plank, up dog, and back. It also includes that little push-up. It could be done with straight arms, or you can do that little mini bend. It's like a mini chaturanga, no chaturanga. So make sure you're in my frame. There's my chair on a non-slip surface. Here I am, just going to come straight into plank. Shoulders above the wrists, body in a hopefully straight line, and into that little mini push-up that I was mentioning. When you unstraighten, when you bend your elbows, it gives you a little bit more room. So the pose we're going to head towards is this. See, it's back bend. Long neck. I'm not lifting my chin. I really don't like looking up. I'd rather look down in this pose to create space in the back of the neck. My legs are super straight and I'm on the tops of my feet, but you could do it with your toes curled under also. Both work. And I'm going back to down dog. So let's try that together if you feel like it, or you can just do some part. Inhale in down dog. Exhale into a push-up position. Inhale in your push-up position. And exhale, a little bend of the arms, not deep bend. Push down into your wrists and lift up with your heart. You're propelling yourself forwards, and your chest should come out in front of your upper arms. Your shoulder heads should be right above your wrists. And then exhale back into your downward facing. Obviously take extra breaths where needed. I'll show one more time. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Okay, so there's lots more you can do. There's so much more you can do in a chair. I just don't want this to go on too long because, you might have time for that. So hopefully I'll do more. But I'll just end with this little release stretch. So feet apart, grounded, hands above your knees, weight bearing your arms, and just drop your right shoulder in. Arms are straight, knees are bent. Center, and then take your left shoulder in. Back to center. Drop your head completely. And then turning the feet more to parallel. Walk your hands up your legs, only back up to standing. And that's it for today. I hope that helped. I hope you're keeping well, and see you next time. Namaste.